is 7:39 here in Vancouver, Canada, and it is what time there, say Moray?
10:39. I don't know, 9:39.
9:39. So welcome to the webinar Arise. This is organized by the Board of Trustees of LCC High School Batch 1990 for LCC Batch 90 and friends. We hope that this webinar will answer some of our nagging questions. Many of us have been affected by the pandemic, and so we are gathered here today to answer our nagging question. How do we survive? How do we thrive? Can we reinvent ourselves and rise after the pandemic, even if we are still in the middle of the pandemic? And so before we continue, I would just like to encourage everyone to turn on your cameras so that we could have this photo up before we move on with our webinar. Pagkitatabi sa inyo nga beautiful smiles. Okay, turn on your cameras wherever you are. Kung ara ka mo sa banyo, anay, para
Dili lang.
pakita sa inyo nga beauty. Perfect. Thank you. Janet, Noreen, and November. On your camera?
Yeah.
Hi.
Okay, Noreen, are you there?
Noreen, are you there? Okay. So wala pa, at least thank you, Laurie, Francis, and everyone else. Mary Rose, you look great here. Okay. Are you gonna take photo?
Thank you so much.
Hi.
Hi, Mary Rose.
Laki si Larry, wala gano'n. Larry, one more time. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we're good.
Okay, perfect. So now we will continue. I would just like to let you know that this is going to be recorded and we can share this with our batchmates kung wala pa sila, hindi sila maka-attend, no? And we are also streaming this live on our Facebook page, LCC High School Batch 1990. Before we continue, I would also like to request everyone to turn off their microphones and their cameras when the presentation is already ongoing. Okay, so thank you so much for being here. For those who are here, please continue to invite your friends on Messenger. Tell them to come and join the webinar because this is for all of us. Hopefully that we could learn a lot from this webinar. And so to continue, may I request Eva Jane Tambovinas to lead us in prayer.
Thank you, Chari. Let us put ourselves in the holy presence of God. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Our Father in heaven, we thank you for another wonderful day, for us to praise and glorify you, O Lord. Father God, as we start this new day, for new learning, we ask for your guidance. Lead us all the way. May you let us see through your eyes, listen through your ears, and speak through your mouth. Be with us as we explore and learn from our speaker, as she imparts valuable lessons in life. Give us the heart to love and be kind to one another. Send us your Holy Spirit to enlighten our minds and open our hearts throughout our webinar for today. Please watch over us, your children, and to our families as well. All these things we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
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 Now we will sing the Philippine National Anthem.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Sisigaw sa nagagang tutok sa
Thank you. Now, at this point, I would like to call on our President, Ray Ablanida, for his welcome remarks.
Ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Thank you, Chari. Dahil lang kaya nga ako na YouTube gadlagan pa. Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
So batchmates, madamo gid nga salamat. Good morning. And madamo gid nga salamat for joining us this morning. I know kabalo ko busy gid kamo tanan, but you made time to be with us today. Firstly, I would like also to thank our speaker, Shirley Mendoza Maghari, for accepting our invitation to speak to us. Shirley, thank you for joining us. After more than 2 years, na-experience na tanan ang effects ng COVID-19. It has led us to loss of human lives. Many of us know someone who died of COVID, and many of us got sick or was infected. The economic and social disruption caused by this pandemic is very devastating. We are now actually experiencing it. We know that many of our batchmates are experiencing this downtime as well. So mga struggle to make ends meet. But unfortunately, our batch alumni association is not yet financially capable to give out financial assistance to our batchmates and to whoever. And because of that, we were able to conceptualize this webinar. We thought that perhaps we can invite someone to speak to us, gather everyone in one meeting, and share pointers or exchange ideas on how to reinvent ourselves and rise from the pandemic. Kabalo kita tanan that at almost 50 years old, it is very hard to look for an employment. But for sure, it is at the end. There is some other way to stand up and become self-sufficient. So this webinar is not only for those who are having financial difficulties, but for everyone, for anyone. So I encourage everyone to be attentive, ask questions, and perhaps share your experiences so that others may learn from them. Maybe we cannot give you financial support now, but pointing you to the right direction will be a big help. So again, thank you very much for joining us and welcome to this webinar, Mayong Aga Liwat. I give back the mic to Chari to start the ball rolling.
Thank you very much, Ray. Very well said. I hope that everyone of us here would truly be inspired and be challenged to rise from the pandemic. No? So especially with what we will learn later from our speaker. It is my great privilege and honor to introduce to you my dear friend and our speaker for this morning, for this webinar. We are very glad indeed that she has accepted our invitation. She is a graduate of journalism from the University of St. LaSalle. In fact, she graduated cum laude, and she's a journalism awardee from the said university with a degree of Bachelor of Liberal Arts and Commerce major in psychology and business management. She earned her special certifications from the Neurosemantics Meta Coaching International with certifications in effective communication, coaching essentials, and strategic executive coaching, Coaching Genius. She also has a certification from the Yale University with certification on the Science of Wellness International Certification course, the University of Colorado with certification on giving helpful feedback. She taught psychology and finance courses at the University of St. LaSalle, taught personality development at the Science Center for Hotel and Restaurant Services, and she's a former columnist at the local daily, a former human resource officer at an internationally recognized social enterprise. She's co-founder and trainer of Via Menti Incorporated, a human resource training and development company. She's involved in active service within the Junior Chamber International and Rotary International, as well as other organizations. She's an advocate for education, mental health, and women empowerment. And most of all, she's a thriving mom of 2 wonderful teens. Before I introduce to you our dear speaker, I would just like to remind everyone to put yourselves on mute and turn off your camera. And of course, to put your view on speaker mode so you will appreciate the presentation of our dear speaker. Please welcome Ms. Shirley May Mendoza Maghari. Hi, Shirley.
Thank you so much, Press Shari. How can I say no to you? So this is actually a very good privilege. Thank you so much, LCC Batch 90. Thank you for being part of your batch history. It's a privilege to be here. So before I start with anything, if I may share my screen with you.
Yes, please.
Okay, I hope that the slide presentations can be viewed clearly by the participants. Is it okay with you, Press Charlie? Okay. Thank you so much. Again, this is a privilege. I am not here to dictate or to pretend I'm the expert on anything because, to be brutally honest with you, I know for a fact that most of you, if not all of you here, have vast experience when it comes to not just thriving in terms of your career, but at the same time to surviving multiple trials within your personal lives, the everyday struggle, especially with this pandemic, with the rising cost of fuel affecting us all, damo kamo ma-share. And I would be very happy if you can discuss it here also with us. I'm glad, in fact, that we are not so many to the point na hindi pa na ma-entertain ang questions ng iban. I am going to be giving you some thoughts lang based on my personal experiences as well. But feel free later on, after the formal slide presentation, feel free to amot your own personal experiences, your own personal knowledge, because you can all benefit from that, including me. So I'm very grateful. I would also be very grateful to listen to you after this. Okay, so to move forward, I would like to start with the number one question that Press Shari, we call each other Press based from our JCI orientations before. This is the first question that I believe would kick off this talk for today. Is it too late for me? Can I begin again? Believe me, I have asked this question also several times in my life. Is it too late? So to start with the discussion, let me share with you a story. I told my kids that my first choice for college course would have been medicine. I passed the Ateneo quota course for pre-med, but I was not allowed to go because it has to be in Manila. There was no medicine here yet. So I was not allowed to go to Manila because my parents were strict, and that was the time when there was a lot of commotions about kidnapping, which I never understood because our apelido naman is not that sikat, no? But then I cannot blame my parents for being worried about sending me to Manila. So to make the long story short, I went to my second option, which is I still love science, so I went into psychology. And since my family's into business, I was happy that there was an offering with LIACOM, that's Liberal Arts and Commerce, combination of sciences and business. So that's psychology and business management. Anyway, as I was telling them the story, I have two kids, by the way, 14 and 18. So when I told them about this when they were younger, they told me, "Tinga ahaw pa de ka pa man. Go ahead, apply or enroll also. It's okay. It's not too late to be a doctor." And you know that as 40s and meeting 50s, mahambal ka gid siya, no? That ship has sailed. Yes, is it possible? Of course, I can still enroll. I have enough savings to start off maybe. It's not impossible, but would I want to spend 10 to 12 years of my life pa in medicine, studying medicine, and then ma-duty as a resident for 48 hours straight because that's the training I need to do. Kaya ko pa na. Kakatulugan ako gani magbasa sa self-help books and other meditation books. How much more if I need to study all those biology and medicine books? Anyway, is it too late? Pwede na siya. The question is, at this point in our lives, all of those idealistic career choices, our first choice when we were 16 to 18, do we still want them? So it is a question actually that would be coupled with thoughts like, ay, hindi na ako baiya. Ano na ako, 40 taon na ako, mas 50 na ako. I'm too old already. Second is, I'm too scared. What if? Hindi ko kaya. What if hindi ko ka-graduate? Kanugon lang. What if I start a new career, I would fail. Kadawan ko sang tanan. I don't even know where to begin. Hindi gani na ko kabalo mag-ubra resume. Ano nang tawag nila? Subong CV. Hindi na ko gani kabalo how to mga Microsoft Office. I don't even know what they're doing anymore. I have too many responsibilities. I have my kids or basing iban, may apo. So all of those concerns, I've invested too much in my current career. Basi, I would be an idiot to just let it go. It's okay. All of these concerns are valid. Tuod may right kasi na magbatsyag because tanan na siya tuod na pandemic pasubong. Everything is so uncertain. Millions, so many has lost their jobs. They have been laid off. Kadama opportunities, business closing. So the uncertainties really are there. First, I want to validate that feeling. You have the right to feel overwhelmed. You have the right nga mag-binge watch Netflix kay ka-overwhelming sang panahon. You have the right to gain 15 pounds or more because you want to survive. That's your survival lang gid subo nga makaya. You live each day, per day, per hour, per minute lang, kaya hindi ka kabalo kung maano kapag kabuas, kung may ara pa or wala na. So all of these things are normal in an abnormal situation that we have right now. For the sake of your mental health, it's okay to not be okay when you are in a crisis, whether that be pandemic or in a war, in a breakup, in a financial difficulty, in a loss of job, in a transfer to another country. It's okay. Give yourself the permission to handle it as much as you can, as productively and as healthy as you can. Okay? So having said that, can you begin again? Is it too late? It's never too late. If you want to start a business, if you want to start a new career, it is never too late. But there's a big but with that. Along with the answer, yes, you can begin again, but again. Okay. Number one, hindi na ta bata. Okay. Our energy is kind of more peaceful. That's another beautiful way of saying nga daw medyo nag-slow down ng baterita. We prefer quiet moments. Kadalag ko ng mga kabataan pa and then medyo galagas ta time with them. So it's never too late if you think about it technically, but it's going to take so much of your decision and you have to know what sacrifices ang willing mo himuon kag ang hindi mo na willing himuon. Okay? So just to answer this, on a positive note, I would like to give you examples here among hundreds of thousands of people who started late in their 50s and their 60s. I just want you to realize that these 8 that I have chosen are actually all the stories of possibilities. So it's okay, don't worry. Number 1, ang founder ng Honda started at age 42, but it took him 10 years to be able to make Honda a leading automotive company. So 52 na nag-stabilize ang business because of the vastness of the industry as well. So second, Pinoy niya siya. Si Henrito U. Yusores is a Filipino tricycle driver who graduated with a degree in education at age 64. Senior na po. Why? Because being in the laylayan ng lipunan, being in the D&E status of society, he was exposed to many bad influence. So wala siya katapos. And yet, upon realizing how he would want his life to be, and maybe naghambal siya, no, I will not die, not realizing my dream, he still enrolled. And just in relation to that, I used to have a classmate in law who started at age 60. He took up law at age 60 and he graduated and became a lawyer at age 65. So that's just one of the stories there. Si Taikichiro Mori is a Japanese real estate tycoon who has been employed for so long. But at age 55, nag-early retirement siya and he built his own real estate company that expanded into making of concert halls, offices, hotels, shops, and television studios. And by 1992, he was considered as one of the world's richest men. Si Paul Ceremony of India was 90 years old when he earned his PhD. So again, it's not too late. Si Vaishya, at the age of 98, passed the Master of Arts in Economics sa NOU. What's fascinating about this is the 3 hours exams, kaya niya at 98, plus wala antipara, wala eyeglasses. He can see so clearly, so amazing. I don't know how he did it, but that's the story of Vaishya. Si Gladys Burrell naman at age 92 completed the Honolulu Marathon in 2010. So it's not too late for us, nag-ambisyon pa. But again, we need to be careful kay kadamo man nag-collapse in triathlons and stuff like that. We need to know our capacity. But is it too late? Again, it's not. Susan Boyle. You know Susan Boyle, right? Sa Britain's Got Talent. She was laughed at first. She was underestimated. But her talent shone through. She was already 45 then, looking like 60s, diba? And yet now she has sold albums na considered as bestsellers, earning millions, and being managed by Simon Cowell himself. So that's amazing. And last but not the least, the founder of McDonald's started at age 55. So basi may ara sa aton kabay pa and praying that there will be like a multinational franchisor someday who's starting this, because it's not, again, too late. Except, now let's discuss how do we do that. Di inada ni Cheryl ang imo nga except. What is the but there? Okay, sige, let's move forward. Again, hindi na ta idealistic teenagers nga, you know, fantasy and ano na siya, Disney happy ever after. We know the challenges now that there is after the happy ever after, may challenges forever after na siya. Hindi na tada na world. We are now in a more realistic scenario. So you can research so many resources, credible resources on the internet. You can just Google how to reinvent yourself. You can binge watch so many inspiring movies or series. But for the purpose of our discussion today, I deem it quite maybe more memorable and relatable if I use the acronym ARISE, which is ARISE. Para hapos i-memorize kay basi i-test ka mo later ni Ray, masapos na siya. So number 1, letter A is ask, R, reflect, I is innovate, S, search, and last, E for evolve. Okay, isa-isa honda siya. Hapos lang na siya. Other sources would give you 20, top 20, top 10, but just to summarize, this is helpful for me. So number 1 is ask gid anay. Anything in life, whether pandemic challenge, disaster, personal heartbreak, financial difficulties, the first in every action we need to do, if we want to reinvent our career, put up a business, get employed somewhere else, why? Nga you want to migrate, nga because I want to earn more, nga you want to earn more. We have this in psychology called the 5 whys to find out what is your most basic foundation of the action you're going to take. So before you jump into any business, before any career change, ask yourself, Anay, ang pinakadalom nga why? Kaya you want to earn more. Nga because I want to provide for my kids. Nga because providing for the kids may not be the end of it. Because I want them to have a better future. Is that the only way? So all of these questions, kung padaluman mo, the deeper the answer is, the more grounded it is to your soul. May puso at may kaluluwa nga ginatawag. The deeper it is, the easier it is going to be when you meet the challenges of your choice. But if your why is because kay ang tunto ko nga manong or ang sibling ko katikalon gid, gusto ko lapawan siya. Kay katikalon gid siya, di mo, ako man gusto ko man may businessman ko, dako man ako ng building. If it's just about competition, if it's because you want to buy the new bag, if it's just because of glamour, then there is no guarantee you can be successful. According to studies made by the Employment Union in the US, 88% of those who reinvented their careers past the age of 40 are successful. But remember, 88% lang. Those 88% knew what they really wanted. They knew that there will be challenges, but their why is too deep to be shaken by the trials that they meet. So amo ni siya, the more nga mas dalom, kung sa foundation pabalas ang balay, kung dalom katama ang pagkukay, hindi siya ma-shake dali-dali. So this is the first thing we have to remember. If it's just money, then you know what's happening now in Ukraine. A lot of refugees have lost their savings, have lost their investments, no matter how many real estates they had. They lost it. So we have to be prepared. If our why is material, then it becomes immediately something that a pandemic can wipe away, a war can wipe away. But if nakakuha ka sa reason for the why, and means lang siya ang new business, kay ang new business ko would give me more time with the kids. Biskan madula pang business, but you had spent more time with your kids, bawi ka na. You won't regret na malalait. Yes, of course, malalait ka man if you lose the business, but if it gave you the opportunity to spend some time with your ailing mother or father, nabantayan mo siya biskan pila na lang kabulan sang life niya, then naka-reward ka na. Kung sumahon mo na siya sa net balance, net income ka, biskan may losses ka manggid. So I want to reiterate that as early in our discussion as now. Amo ni siyang number 1 gid. What is your why in wanting to reinvent yourself, in wanting to change careers or put up your own business? Okay? Sige. Moving forward, amo ni siyang maidid. After you know your why and you know nga dalom gid siya, it's something that you can leave this earth and say nga peaceful ka sa ginbutang mo na why, reflect on your priorities, your core values, and your goals. Let's discuss first priorities. Is your priority now health? So maybe hindi na siya practical na mag-expect ka to get into a career that would be highly competitive to the point na ang imo na competitor is a 28-year-old na kaya 3 days wala tulog-tulog. If your priority is your family now, then maybe having a business or a career would depend on what kind na makaspend ka more time with them. What are your core values? Is it integrity? There are some, let me just share with you a story. I have talked to someone because I do training in HR. There are some discussions wherein some people transfer to another department because they feel that being in sales is too much of a stressful department for them. Kay may quota, gina siya pirmi mo. So they did not change company. They asked to be transferred. Kiti kabalo na sila what the sales is all about, may experience na. Now that they're prioritizing their health, hindi na sila gusto mag-travel. Kaya usually, di ba, sales regional office, you travel all over the Philippines, etc. Now, I have another friend naman na she was not allowed to transfer to another department. And her health was already feeling the brunt of all the travels and the stress. She migrated abroad in Europe and is now teaching English language. And she's happier than when she was a vice president of a multinational company. So that's what I'm talking about in terms of what are your current priorities. Maybe some bata-bata pa ta, medyo, I want a big house, all the cars that I can afford, the brand new cell phones, pa in this with the others. But at this point in our lives, that's the gift of midlife. I don't call it midlife crisis, ha? I call it midlife calling. Maybe we are being called na okay na. You enjoyed another life before. And who said that in this life, you cannot have many kinds of lives? Na-enjoy mo na to, maybe this is another time, and then mag another year naman, or after 10 years na 70 or 80 ka na, there's another life waiting for you also. Who said na hindi na pwede? Diba? Hindi pwede nga stressful ka since you were 20s, hasta na lang mapatay ka, stressed ka, and overly competitive, OC. No, we change. And this is why I'm really very biased when people call it midlife crisis. I call it midlife calling. This is when you get to know yourselves. It becomes a crisis if you long for the past, na gusto mo balikan, nga teenager ka pa, hindi na angayan. So, dira ka naga DOM, na dira dagada mo ang mga, spending so much on wanting to be who you're not anymore. So we try to assess the intasubong in our lives, and we need to have enough time within ourselves, enough time go ka sa beach, or subong level 1 na ta. So I don't know with the other places, but I think we can go out na, right? Or even in the morning. I find it so relaxing to wake up at 4:30 or 5, na ako pa lang ang bugtaw in all the house, and I can get to do my meditation and reflect, because it's not nga the paanghel-anghel ka, no, now, ha. It's because precisely I know how many demons I have sometimes in my mind that I have to struggle with every day. So I need that time to get to know myself, to plan out kung amo pa ni bilang life ang gusto ko, is there something that I would want to do, and who are the affected people, time to reflect, or just time to stop thinking. That can also be your time not to think so much, but just to enjoy yourself, being at peace. So is that your priority now? then maybe your choice of career would depend on that. Number two, I will be very practical, sorry. Resources. If you want to start a business, do you have the capital for it? Because it takes a lot. Damo gid, especially I have many friends who would want, glamorous ang restaurant and namiyan sila magluto and everything. But do you know that having a restaurant or a catering business is one of the most labor and capital intensive? So if hindi ka determinado, better think twice. I know it's a nice thing, but look all around for those in Bacolod or even in the States, in Bangkok or in Vancouver. I think diba Press Chinese, Ray, you will find medium and small business enterprises closing even before they reach their 5 years. It is because we are tempted by the glamour of opening shop, having our own store, that we forget how labor and capital intensive it is. So I know of some friends, upon retirement from the bank, millions ang nakuha. And then they started a restaurant and wala pa 1 year, naubos na ang millions. So for me, that's quite sad na decades na nila nga retirement fund na if buga mo siya dason, that is something you cannot take back. Ginpahimo na nila store, ginrenovate na, nagrental na, ginpasweldo na sa tawo. So all of those years of that retirement fund, nadula gid siya. Good thing if they can bounce back, if may capital pa, may bata nga mabulig. But what I'm saying lang is these resources, especially cash material resources, they are not limitless. Hindi ni siya unlimited, hindi unli. So think well, because the number one subject that you really have to be an expert on is not really just marketing or cooking if you want to put up your own business. I don't know if you agree with me, but this is based on experience as well as the interviews with people I have come across. Ang hindi kabalo mag-accounting, please hindi mag-business. Because it will pull you down as if nami ang business, but if you don't know whether you're actually losing or not, kaya hindi ka kabalo mag-accounting, even just basic accounting, it will fall in a matter of 1 to 2 years. So we have to go back. Arina Tadino, so can I just discuss this question that Press Charlie gave me last time? It says here, what is better, finding a job or starting a business? Can I do both? Where and how can I find work when I'm already over 40? What are the options and opportunities available out there, and which is better? Okay, prangkahanay. If you came from a corporate, diba, ang opisina, 8 to 5 na siya. Kung the business ka, 24/7, panumdumon mo na pati ang banyo nga paninlo sang imong restaurant, ang panindahan, everything. So if you want to put up a business, what kind of business do you have? Is it related to your attitude? Okay bala? So a lot of people are attracted to the business because of the concept of independence. For the first time in years, they become their own bosses. So excited, diba? You can decide your own time. That's the beauty of it. The prestige and the possibility of growing your investment in ways that are beyond your usual pay grade. Tutuod man gid na. According to a relative, ay hindi ka mag-milyonaryo or mag-bilyonaryo kung gasigi ka lang ubra sa opisina, which is probably correct. However, according to studies, there are in fact silent millionaires, teachers who were able to save their incomes And before you know it, ang balay nila is already worth million kay gintipunan, nag-invest sa time deposit, biskan jutay-jutay lang na, but they never stop saving. And you compare that to a businessman who's so aggressive, who's so reckless, that they invest in one shot and then ubos na. So again, case-to-case basis, it's not a guarantee. Although many succeed in business, many realize that business is not for them. Why? Because service and manufacturing businesses are the most intensive in terms of labor and capital and other resources. And I already said about the retirees, no? Ang budlay sini, unlike sa opisina ka, hindi ka mag-expect na alas 5 tapos na, makapangapi ka na, join ka na sa friends mo, chika-chika ka na. No. If you have a business, sometimes you have to make your own delivery. I experienced that before. Nag-absent ang amon ng delivery guy. I would have to be the one to make the delivery on a Sunday when you're having family time, expect calls, clients, etc. to really bother you and disturb you, because that's what business is all about. If you're not into that, then think multiple times. You have to also carry those who are not performing. So if may ibanda nga daw slack off, if it's your own business, you have to take the responsibility. However, klaruhon ko lang, hindi tanan yung business ang muni. There are businesses that may not seem like business but are actually very lucrative. You can earn a lot. Should you have vast experiences on the field, you may go into consulting. If you have a lot of experience in investment, you can go into familiar paperwork, accounting systems, reports. For example, if you have background on business sa corporate, diba? May mga accounting paperwork, then you can go into real estate. Kadamo ko subong kilala ga part-time selling condos, and they get the commission for that. Rentals, condo units, Airbnb sang wala pa pandemic. I've known of a cousin grabe gid ang income niya with Airbnb. And she's a doctor. So if you ask me, you can do both. Yes, you can. But you have to be very organized about this. Research on productivity, how to organize. Commercial spaces. Another business can be flipping commercial spaces or just buying ang mga bank, mga bank reclaim nga wala na bayaran, kay mas barato na sila magbaligya. And then some would buy it and then later on just wait for about 5, medyo long lang ha, mga 5 to 6 years, if hindi mo man lang kinanglan ng money, then by the capital gains alone, you can earn so much na. I know of a lot here near us na it started with 2,000 per square. Now it's running 7,500. Less than 10 years. So that can be it. If you are not really after liquidity, hindi mo man gid kinanglan ang cash. Another thing is, it's also a business to have investment portfolios. It pays to, just be familiar about stocks, about bonds. Let me just share with you another pandemic story for me. We started our company with human resource training in 2016, and we were really gearing up. 2020, we have already booked even Zamboanga, Manila. So we're really excited about it. And then pandemic happened. We had to change course. Were we sad? Of course. Kay it is also a loss for our part. Kay mas dako gid siya kung you get to do face-to-face and then big events. But we cannot do this anymore. So while we're waiting and weathering the pandemic, we went into online business. We do trainings online. My partner does robotics, game coding, etc. online. And we learned also about the stock market. So for me, it's not something I would do long term because I get so stressed with the everyday high and low of the stock market. Do feeling ko do sa kikon ko. But I my friend, on the other hand, loves it. So you have to know yourself, Gib. Are you the type na nagaka-excite ya with the daily stress? Or are you the type na I'm very cost averse kasi in my portfolio. I'm very conservative, so I would take on earnings as much as I can, and I'm very allergic to losses. But in stock market, you have to be very prepared sa volatility. In one day, very positive, plus 4%, plus 6%. And then pagka next week, dagdag to negative 10%. But you have to weather it again. So studying that, it takes a whole lot of another topic. Anyway, it pays, whether just having conversation with business, network, just learn how maybe you can earn from the stock market. If you're more conservative like me, then bonds, time deposit, all of those other investments. May mga UITF, you can ask your financial advisors about that, but don't ask just one, okay? Shop. Just like you shop for your groceries, shop as many as you can, because not one standard product will fit you. Try to explore and make it a learning process anyway. There are modern businesses later on that I will discuss that would be very flexible and does not tie you so much, especially if you're still exploring options. So may iba na fixed na gid sa business, may iba na want to change career, may iba na undecided pa. And most of us are actually undecided na hindi pa ta kabalo kung may variant na naman na magwa and the surge is coming again. Or maybe tuloy-tuloy na ang new normal. The situation in Ukraine and Russia is still going on. Again, we don't know. Which is why we need to be very flexible, that we build our soft skills. I'm an advocate of mental health. Protect your mental health at all costs. Because ang pandemic, ang mga challenges damo pa na, you have to strengthen your inner character, give anay resilience. I know they keep on saying that, the resilience, the ability to say, okay, I'm hoping for the best, but I'm prepared for the worst. We need to view things not in a fixed mindset anymore, but in a growth mindset na kaya ni. Ang akon, basta kabalo ko sang basic skills, like survival skills. That is why I'm into right now mental health, researches, first aid, nutrition, and health. Because whatever is the situation, you will need all of those things. Okay, financial management. Those are the skills that we need to really survive. So the last, I know it's boring, ang SWOT analysis, it's not only happening in a formal corporate environment, but we need to do a strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats assessment of ourselves as well. Strength mo bala is your family because they're willing to help you out. Do you have the strength in capital? Do you have the strength in network? What are your weaknesses? Are you an introvert? Is that a weakness or is that a strength for you? Are you the type na a team worker or are you a loner when it comes to working? What are your opportunities out there? And what are the threats? As I said, pandemic, the war, etc. But there are opportunities in every threat. We'll discuss that. Okay, moving forward. Number 3, innovate. Finish na ta sa A, ask. R is to reflect. And I now is to innovate. What do we do? Those who survive are the ones that actually hindi ko na ang fittest, but the most adaptable beings. If we upgrade or update, it's not just the material things, the machineries that we have, the capital, but number one thing we have to upgrade is the mindset. My teenagers right now are considered woke generation. I think you've heard that term, woke. It means being awakened, being able to bust through the previous myths that we have. So a different mindset is needed if we want to survive and thrive after the pandemic or after any other crisis. It's painful, yes. some of us would develop a changed mindset because we want to, upon reflection, kanami ginamani, no? But a lot of us have been pushed to be awakened because of a crisis. It's immediate, it's a mind awakening thing, and you find yourself so different, so evolved, so wide awake from the previous things that you believed before. So the mindset that we're talking here is all about fixed mindset. Hindi kay ang eskwelahan ko, hindi na siya amo, I cannot handle what you're giving me now. It's no longer applicable. As within HR industry, all job descriptions now include the clause and any other duties and responsibilities that may be assigned to you. If you're not adaptable or flexible about this, even just the willingness to learn, you don't really have to be an expert immediately. The willingness to learn is already a step forward. So the growth mindset, the ability to learn no matter how slow your process may be, it's okay. It's the willingness to start and to continue and maybe to find out whether you want to change something or not. Mindset is innovative. Lifestyle. I discovered minimalism in a few years back. And I think most of you will also agree with me that this pandemic has taught us how little we need in life. How many of you are no longer using 75% of their bags, of their clothes, of their shoes? Ang iban gani, I know of some friends who's telling me, wala na-expire ng rubber shoes ko. Because you're only using what? Ara na lang sa balay. If you're using man isa duwa na lang, diba? And when you, okay, one of the casualties of the pandemic, lipstick, ladies, diba? Sa una that you cannot get enough. But now, the pandemic has taught us, you don't need 20 shades of lipstick. You don't need, naka-expire na lang. You don't need to stock so much because you don't know what will happen. We don't need so many things to make us happy. It's the experience of being together in the house. For me, what's wonderful are not the gadgets. We learn to appreciate watching series and movies together. That's the experience. Amo wala na kinanglan. And then the lifestyle really has changed. We don't need to brag about where na restaurant ka naman kakaon. I've been seeing less and less posts about it. So, you know, na lesson man maybe ang hisaay when it comes to social media. To social media. So there is that. The lifestyle changes, the minimalism that's now being endorsed, the more environment friendly. We have to understand that the current trend is into health and fitness. Gone were the days, diba? I think experience ka mo na. Sang una, sang mga aton to, diba? Anong mga sikat? Mga bar, mga night out. Look at where the current generation is. Bike. You're cool. Wala na naguro man nag-usar ng word cool. You're now in the trend. Coffee, tea, organics, all natural. I think we can refer that to November with all the organic, the plant-based, healthy lifestyle, the sustainability. That's the current market. If you want to change career or reinvent yourself, you also have to wake up as the world is waking up. Gender equality, gender sensitivity, using of pronouns, being open to all kinds of people regardless of age, of gender, of status. That's where the mindset and the lifestyle comes in. You can no longer apply and be a machismo or a sexist in a company or in your business. You will be defeated by the current awakening of generations. If you need to innovate, you start within first, within our minds, within our beliefs, within our ability to accept a better nation or a better world. It's not being politics, ha? That's reality. Slowly lang, slowly over the decades, these are the innovations that are coming within the human consciousness. Hindi na siya just career. It's really the overall human experience that's waking up. Last but not the least, kaya daw amo ni siya medyo madamo-damo, our technological skills. We have to upgrade our technological skills when it comes to welcome to this world. I know despite all the bad things that you say about Facebook, about Instagram, Twitter, etc., we need it. I'm sorry to say. Now, it's like the Force in Star Wars, diba? The Force is neither good nor bad. It would depend on the person using it. So if ara naman lang gid ang social media, use it to your advantage. What do I mean by that? Curate your branding. Delete fake news nga gina-post. If it's not from a credible source, if it's just about being a marites, delete na lang. Because that would damage your reputation as a professional or someone that a person would want to network with, a person would want to connect with. So I'm not saying hey, don't express your opinion. You can. But there is a dignified, respectful, and credible way of doing it. Okay? So learn what are the available venues. Sa Facebook, may marketplace that you can sell. Okay, we'll discuss that later. Instagram, there are now a lot of people who are influencers and earning from it. Restaurants, they don't have a store, na physical store, but they get so much, kaya wala na sila rent mo, so that's less cost. What they do now is take advantage of the marketplace from Facebook to Instagram to Twitter to LinkedIn. What they save, they can be more competitive. Kaya mas barato na ang ilang ang ginabaligya, delivery na lang. Okay? So, the most professional in all these social media accounts is LinkedIn. So if you don't know yet what LinkedIn is, try researching because you don't have enough time na, no? But you can do this on your own. Start a LinkedIn profile, research how to make a good profile in LinkedIn, and you will discover, in fact, I have been approached by multiple recruiters already when it comes to job opportunities. So I was kind of flattered. And then I said na, wow, biskan gali sa amuni nga edad, may nag-offer pa jobs. Yes, but I wouldn't have had those offers if I didn't have a LinkedIn professional account. So ang mga recruiters, mga online platforms who are really credible, they use LinkedIn for that. I'm sorry, they don't use Facebook so much because, you know, kadamo, mga fake, whatever. But in LinkedIn, you will really see more of the business connections there. So try to do that. Another you need to upgrade is how you save your memories. It can be Dropbox, it can be in any cloud na mga applications, because knowing how to file well in terms of the internet, in terms of documents, soft copies of documents, people will expect that when you get hired. That is if you want to have a career. But even in business, even in business, if hindi ka kabalo mag-ariglar sa files mo and you don't organize, you will be losing so much. There are now, the internet has provided so many business people the ability to cut down their time in half. Gusto mo more time with the family, then upgrade sa technology because it will save you so much time. Do may ara ka personal secretary kung kabalo ka lang sa technology. Okay? So what am I talking about? As simple as Microsoft Office. I have to say this because it's the reality. You cannot apply anymore if hindi ka kabalo sang basic na Microsoft Office. As simple as Word, Excel, PowerPoint, they require that. The ability to use this, Zoom, Teams, Google Drive. Do you know how to access the Messenger, the calendar? All of these things will help you. It's not just a requirement for those who are applying for work in a corporate setting. It's really even for those who want to start their own business. Okay? Hindi ka ni makawatan if kabalo ka mag-computerize or how do you call it, technologically advanced businesses. It's so easy for you to audit. Mabalaan mo kung ginakupitan ka, ginakawatan ka, or ang inventory mo, hindi na mo. So all of those things would help you. In terms of Canvas, this is the learning system. If you are into businesses of schools, for example, Asana is another organizing app. Canva, I believe your kids are also using this in their online projects. You can create logos for your business here. You can create posters. Abi mo professional gid. You can lay out anything here. You can do videos for your social media accounts. Explore Canva. And by the way, Canva is founded by half Filipino, and she is very young. I think 30s pa lang siya, but she was able to do this. Let's take advantage of the inventions of the millennials and the Gen Zs to help us out. So those are the applications that you need to familiarize with. I have discovered so much. I attend kasi and I pay a lot going to Manila and other places for training and upskill of my skills and other knowledge. But with the pandemic, these companies have been forced to do online. And dako na save ko. This is one of the benefits of knowing where to find extra courses, because there are some companies you really have to upgrade and get certifications for. Where do I get the certifications? Laban ni sa ila, Skillshare, Coursera, Masterclass, Udemy, Udacity, Creative Pug, and so many more. They offer some free classes that you can take. If you want to be certified, that's the only time that you pay, so that they can give you exams and certifications. And what's the advantage? You get certificates from globally recognized educational institutions. Even Harvard has online platforms. You don't need to go there anymore. Think about how much you can save for that. But with a Harvard or a Yale University or Boston University, Singapore, all of those first world institutions that we can only dream of, they're now available online. So please explore. Kadamo man sang free that you can take advantage of. Don't be satisfied. I know there's a lot in YouTube, but YouTube can somehow be very compressed. So if you want to have a more professional, intensive courses, these are the platforms to use. Okay, sige. Let's move forward. Number 4 is search. Ask, A. R is reflect, I is innovate, and tapos ka na innovate, diba? So now you search. How do you search for opportunities for your business or for your career? Number 1, look at your personal network. First, of course, is your family. How can they help connect you with the right people? Or maybe they themselves would want to invest. Diba? So pwede na siya. Second is your past business networks. Ang mga upod mo sa office ang una. I know of so many na nag-resign na from the office, but siya na ang suppliers ng ilang panyaga. So these are business opportunities or business network from other networks that you have been experiencing. Before I forget, balance kasi personal and business. There's another network that you can take advantage of. Civic and organizational network. Press Charlie and I know each other precisely because of our involvement with the Junior Chamber International, that's the JCI or formerly JCs. I also know of many people coming from, nakakita sila client, or business connections, because I'm not saying you join just because for the business connections. It is you join precisely because you want to serve, but not in politics. You want to serve, you want to discover more of your talents, ang mga charity organizations you want to help, you want to be more fulfilled in maybe passing your blessings forward, kag bonus na lang na ang meeting other people who may be as like-minded as you, who will give you the opportunity when you are now ready to start your business or change careers. So it's something that bonus points, but be careful. Nobody wants to be connected with just for the purpose na may kwaon kasi ila. Immediately, it rings bad signals. Gaka red flag na siya because that's not being authentic. What I'm saying here is that when you have the opportunity to serve, it's a balance between trying to make the connections for business. The bonus na lang na again. But a lot of business people are also actually the ones who have corporate social responsibilities that connect with civic and charitable institutions. That's what I'm moving forward to. So personal, business, other organizations, whether that be hindi siya civic, it can be a special interest club. I know of someone, members ng United Architects, or here, diba, high school, batch 90. That can be your network. That can be one of the opportunities you have. Okay, sige. So moving forward, this is now your online network. How can you build your online network? I want to introduce you based on the 2020 studies. They have released the top 10 portals in the Philippines wherein you can search for possible job opportunities. Hindi ni siya online lang. You have to remember these are actual yellow pages or what you call sa newspaper, balasang una, mga naga-hiring, naga-post for hiring. We don't post anymore on newspapers. These are the 10 best ways in which you can look for a job, whether it's online or not. Number 1 is Job Street. What I personally like about Job Street is that you can upload your resume, your CV is already there, and they will inform you. In fact, may iba na employers would already put how much salary they're going to offer, where you're going to be assigned, the job description, the job specifications, as well as until when ka lang pwede makasubmit sa imo application. So all of those things are there. Caliber is also very helpful, easy to use. Indeed, Boss Job, as I said, LinkedIn, it's a social platform at the same time. Recruitment place, Facebook, Work Abroad PH for those who want to migrate. For the freelancers, if you want to work for part-time lang, then you can do Upwork and Freelancer. Warning, you have to start somewhere. So don't expect that when they say, you can earn as much as 50,000 a month. From the first application, 50,000 kada, so no, sorry to say it's not. They will test you first. The more clients that would get your services, then your pay will be upgraded. So you will start maybe 100 per hour lang for mga English tutors, but it's okay. As you build your network, then you can have more income. 9 is Monster Job Philippines and the 10 online jobs. There are others there as well. You can research for the updated. Okay. I would just like to flash the featured online jobs: product tester, online sellers, bloggers, Facebook ad managers, transcribers. You need to type very fast. If you're going to be a transcriber, you have to listen very well. Drop shipper is also there. Online jobs for moms. Subscription box creator, virtual assistant. I know of many of my friends who are virtual assistants and earning as if they're managers of the banks. But of course, after pila ka years na siya. Graphic designer, niche website creator, website designer, Amazon seller, social media influencer, budgeter, or bookkeeper online. I also know of someone who has clients, accountant siya, may client siya abroad. So he's being paid in dollars. That's one of the things. So for us Pinoy, live selling of clothes, food items, o diba, Madam Inuts, remember? She's earning a lot and she's now artista. Food items, a lot of people are now creating their own. Barter, business groups, GCash or online payments wherein patungan mo siya kung may ma-in-cash or mga remittances. Bayad centers, English or Filipino tutors, homeschooling assistance, or in other forms of saving sa budget. I know of many mothers now who save a lot na wala na nagbayad sa schools and went into homeschooling instead, if that's for you. Okay, second. Let's move forward. There is a question here. What areas are the most likely to bounce as we move to the new normal, and what are the opportunities to look forward to? So to answer that question, this is the most recent data that they have. So for the green ones, amo ni siya ang medyo pandemic resilient. Of course, food and beverages. They may not be in a store anymore, but as I said, delivery and, you know, pandemic, mas damo kaon sang tao sa sulod balay. So it's funny daw how it's pandemic and there's crisis and people are gaining weight, and it's understandable. As I said, stress can also trigger that. Agriculture, we have November to attest to that. For the first time in many years, may mga nagplantita, plantito, may mga organic and backyard farming or backyard kitchen, garden. So we realize how it's so essential to be able to put food in our table in times of crisis. Real estate has also grown despite the pandemic because of the build program of the government. The utility is very essential. Dala na siya internet and communication lines. The PLDT and Globe were so overwhelmed during the pandemic. The stock value of Converge, except for dito kaya wala na siya bili as much as when they started. Converge, PLDT, Globe, they are still rising because it has been proven pandemic resilient. And with people working from home, they need to be more competitive. Construction, mining, and another form is the BPO. Damo na salbar sa BPO, those who lost their jobs. As long as you have the skills, very basic skills necessary, you can try BPO. Okay, they pay well. The yellow parts here are the ones that are okay for some time but gets affected by the pandemic. Manufacturing, wholesale, retail industry, financial services, transport, storage, and communication. But they're growing. What do I mean by this? Manufacturing is now gearing up towards the new normal. The wholesale and retail trade has been saved by the deliveries. Financial services, the online, like the mga GCash, Paymaya, they survived the pandemic through that. Transport, storage, and communication with the vaccine storage, the transport, etc. What is still in the red is tourism. As I said, because of the uncertainty in the pandemic and the war between Ukraine and Russia. But we're hoping for revenge travels later on. Hotel and restaurant management is really crossing their fingers for that. Okay, moving forward, the last, okay, you ask na your why, you reflect on your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, stats, your priorities, your goals, your core values, your resources. And then for letter I, you have innovated already. Nagtuon ka na sa mga latest trends. You found connections. You searched for your connections. And then now it's the final time for you to evolve. How do we evolve? Career reinvention is not only possible, but it's really critical if you want to stay relevant in today's world. So when we talk about evolution, it's when you know that your core values are still intact, but you are able to adapt now, just like how a butterfly is undergoing the pain of the transformation. It is when you're ready to say, okay, the wind may not be really conducive, but you're ready to fly and discover your own new adventure. Okay? With that, I leave you with all the fears, the uncertainties, ano na siya man ba si ma-fail ko or hindi, it's okay. Because there will always be people who will not believe in you. There will always be people who will have negative things to say or toxic things to say. But as long as you ask, reflect, innovate, search, and evolve, failures may be there, but no matter how they judge you for keeping on, for starting over even as late as 40s and 50s, it's okay because I and everyone here is actually cheering you on and clapping because you never gave up. Thank you so much and have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.
Wow, a round of applause for Press Shirley. That was awesome.
Wow.
Press, amazing. We are so thankful for your sharing. You opened our eyes, you opened and broadened our perspectives. You have made us realize that it's never too late to start again. And there are a lot of opportunities for us out there. As long as we know our capacity, we know that the resources that we have are not unlimited, but our hopes will never be limited. Correct? So Press, thank I call her Press Shirley because we belong to the same organization, JCI. So again, Press Shirley, thank you so much. You were wonderful. Before I open the palakpakan tabi, you know how to put applause, no? Aton nga mga batchmates. Yes, kabalo ka mo magbutang applause sa aton nga view dira. Thank you so much. And then may I request everyone to, before I open the floor for questions, I would like to ask everyone to turn on their cameras kay para nga maano ta anay ma photo op kita. Request ni siya ni Ray, our president. Could you
Yep.
please turn on your cameras? Yes, thank you. Awesome. At
Maybe-
one point we have reached 18, no? Oh, that's great.
May beer na si Larry. Okay.
Kanami kay Press Shirley because she put di ba may himutangan niya acronym ang arise. Awesome,
Okay.
no? So we
Okay,
will rise
pero,
whatever the crisis that we will face, whether it's the pandemic, the war, personal, whatever it is, we can do it. So wala na sa may on cam da a photo op ka, Ray.
okay. Raymond, hindi na ka mo, Janet. Eduardo. Namigitani ko na rin yung picture.
Present. Yes.
Yeah, please open
Ang
your
camera ko,
camera.
gabisyo.
Duarte camera, Duarte.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Gabisyo yung
okay.
camera ko.
Sige. 1, 2, 3, smile. There you go.
Yay, thank
Okay.
you. Okay, so keep on turning on your cameras. It's okay. Kitapos ng presentation ni Press Shirley. Again, thank you so much. Is there anyone who